A very good evening to you. You are watching Prime Time News on News First. I am Chaturanga Hapuarachi. Before we take a look at the headlines this evening, a small reminder that we are live on Facebook as well. You can follow us on www.facebook.com/newsfirstsl. As I said, I am Chaturanga Hapuarachi and my co-anchor for the day is Jitendra Gunasena. Good evening, Jitendra.
Good evening, Chaturanga. Yes, we have quite a few stories lined up for tonight's bulletin. Let's now take a look at the very latest.
Let's take a look at the headlines for this evening. Net weight of the cache of cocaine discovered yesterday reduces by 1 kilogram. Stash valued at over 4 billion rupees.
MP Geeta responds to an invitation extended by the Prime Minister.
Leader of the JVP elaborates on the reasons for the fall of the economy.
And teachers' unions protest the political appointment of school principals.
On to those stories in detail now. The attention of President Maithripala Sirisena was drawn towards the issues faced by the Madukanda National School in Vaunia when the students from the school called on the President today at the Presidential Palace.
A group of students from the Madukanda National School in Vaunia met with President Maithripala Sirisena this afternoon. The visit was made following a request made by a student of the school when the President visited Vaunia. The students who were given a tour of the premises were also allowed to engage in a discussion with the President where they raised the needs of the school. The President, who focused on these issues, informed the respective authorities to take remedial action and also informed the students that he would visit the school next month for an inspection. Despite his busy schedule, President Sirisena decided to have lunch with the students.
අද දවසේදී මේ අපිට උදා කරලා දුන්න මේ විශිෂ්ට අවස්ථාව පාසල් ජීවිතය තුළ ශිෂ්‍ය ශිෂ්‍යාවන් හැටියට අපලද උතුම් දිනයක් බවට පත් වෙනවා.
Welcome back. Yesterday, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe extended an invitation to UPF MP Geeta Kumarasinghe to join with the government in Parliament. Today, MP Geeta Kumarasinghe responded.
After the budget, I invite the MP to come and join us.
අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමා කතා කරලා ඇවිල්ලා මෙහෙට ඇවිල්ලා එන්න ඔයාට ඕන දෙයක් දෙන්නම් කියලා කිව්වා. එහෙම කිව්වා. ඒක හැන්සාඩ් එක බලන්න. නෑ ඔයාට වැඩි අග්‍රාමාත්‍යතුමා මට කැමති. මේ වගේ විවෘතව උත්තරීතර පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ අගමැති කෙනෙක් නැගිටලා එහෙම ආරාධනා කරාම මට පුළුවන් ද ඒක අහක දාන්න. නමුත් මම අහක දානවා. කොකාපාන මේ වගේ ආණ්ඩුවකට එකතු වෙන්න මගේ කිසිම කැමැත්තක් නැහැ කියලා මම තාමුන්නාසලට අද ප්‍රසිද්ධිය ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
Minister Rangi Bandara's daughter got married today. She was there at the ceremony. She might be making such ridiculous statements after indulging in something at that event.
අර තරුණ මන්ත්‍රීලා කට්ටියක් මේකට හරියට අප්සෙට් වෙලා මට කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඔහොම තමයි එක එක්කෙනාගේ කාලෙට නොයෙක් විපර්යාස වෙනවා. කාලෙට නොයෙක් වෙනස්කම් වෙනවා. සමහර විට මේක මානවීය දෙයක් වෙනවා.
UPFA MP Vasudeva Nanayakara questioned as to what action will be taken against private institutions that have failed to increase employee salaries by 2,500 rupees.
Complaints can be made to the labour officers against employers who have failed to increase the salaries of private sector employees by 2,500 rupees. The minimum wage was increased to 12,500 with effect from the 23rd of March 2016. Earlier, the minimum wage stood at rupees 10,000. According to the Budgetary Relief Allowance of Workers Act number 4 of 2016, the additional 2,500 rupees must be paid.
Will you take legal action against the estate companies that fail to increase wages and pay the allowances of 2,500 rupees?
With regard to this, the estate companies put forward the issues that they faced. A decision was made by the government to grant them some relief. The Bank of Ceylon and the People's Bank have agreed to give 1 billion rupees to them.
Will you allow them to take more time when it comes to other labour laws as well?
Tea estate owners and small tea holders have reached a situation where they cannot continue in this sector. Rubber is not sapped in the rubber cultivations. Based on the current market price, they cannot pay the wages of the employees. This is a situation and we must take it into consideration as well.
Still in local news, the trend of politicians who were ordered to be remanded getting themselves admitted into hospital was widely discussed in Parliament today.
The FCID is under the purview of Sri Lanka Police, which comes under you. In the recent days, the FCID probed into serious acts of financial crimes, and following the investigations, certain persons were produced in court. Thereafter, these persons get hospitalized. Persons who were getting ready to march to Colombo from Kandy were admitted to the National Hospital citing a serious illness. If the FCID hadn't produced these persons in court, these persons would have engaged in the march from Kandy and they would pass away by the time they reach Katambe. What I ask is this: when a politician is arrested for a serious crime of financial fraud and then remanded, the very next day they get themselves admitted to the prison's hospital or the national hospital. This results in the people losing faith in the judiciary, the doctors who make such recommendations, as well as the health sector. Does the FCID only arrest those who are seriously ill? You will have to open an FCID ward in the national hospital.
As this does not come under my subject ministry, I will not respond to it at this time. However, if bail is granted, he would probably feel much better and would be a part of that march. Local government representatives of the SLFP convened a media briefing in Gampaha today to oppose the march that is being organized by the joint opposition.
As SLFPers, we strongly oppose the march being organized by the joint opposition. This march is being organized to split the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. The aim of this march is not to take aim at the United National Party government or to criticize the government. No matter what march or demonstration is staged, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party has never been brought down. The SLFP is a party that will continue to move forward. Those who are going on marches are the ones who call for Mahinda Rajapaksa to be appointed as the Prime Minister. If they had any true love for Mahinda, they would have worked during the presidential election. But they did not. They only worked for their preferential votes. They did not even engage in the canvassing in the villages. The United National Party and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party has established a strong government that will exist until 2020. They are not attempting to topple the government, but are trying to split the Sri Lanka Freedom Party. We must accept the fact that President Maithripala Sirisena is the chairman of the party and we will support him. If you look back, each time the Sri Lanka Freedom Party suffered a loss, there were such issues. A similar situation is taking place this time as well. They will undertake various marches. We have no issue. As a party, we will bring together everyone and engage in activities.
Another edition of the series of seminars organized by the People's Liberation Front, or the JVP, took place in Soisapura Muratua yesterday.
Leader of the JVP, Anurukumara Dissanayake, presided over the seminar, which was held under the theme Debt Trap, Tax Burden and the Collapsing Economy. The five main reasons for the country to face an economic crisis is the debt crisis, the collapse in production, the crisis in the import markets, the low revenue generated by the state, an anomaly in the distribution of revenue. Therefore, what is required? The JVP and the progressive people in the country must establish a government in this country. We must not delay this. The administration is only taking steps to exacerbate the issue and not provide solutions to them.
As mentioned in our headlines, the Police Narcotic Bureau announced that the total value of the cocaine discovered from a container yard in Paliagoda is over 4 billion rupees. This is incidentally the largest cocaine haul seized from the country.
The contraband was discovered following an inspection of two suspicious cargo containers placed at the container yard in Paliagoda. It was announced that the contraband weighed 274 kilograms. The cocaine was discovered after two cargo containers were inspected yesterday and today. A ship carrying sugar reached Sri Lankan shores on Wednesday from Brazil via Portugal. The sugar consignment had been imported under the name of a company based in Peta, which has been importing sugar to the country for the past 25 years. On the 14th of June, police seized 25 kilograms of heroin from a cargo container with sugar imported from Brazil by the company in question. The company had imported sugar for consumption in Sri Lanka this time around as well. What is significant is that it was the respective company that had informed the police to inspect 8 suspicious cargo containers. Police suspect that the consignment of cocaine had been imported to the country in order to re-export it. Investigations are underway as to how these 2 cargo containers managed to be freed from customs undetected. The plant from which cocaine is manufactured from, known as coca, is native to Western South America. However, later it spread to the Asian region. The cocaine ring is most famous in Europe, and cocaine is distributed to other countries from Nigeria, Brazil and several island nations. Cocaine looks similar to sugar. However, a simple overdose can be fatal and would result in death. Cocaine was discovered on several occasions in Sri Lanka over the recent months. Venezuelan woman who arrived in the country after swallowing 87 cocaine pills arrested. 8 Nigerian nationals arrested with 220 grams of cocaine. 1.2 kilograms of cocaine seized by police from the garden of the next door house where the arrested Nigerians were living in down Gamanumavata Ragama. Drug ring where cocaine was skillfully embedded onto a string and later being sold uncovered. Sugar container with 25 kilograms of cocaine imported from Brazil discovered. Cocaine with a street value of almost 5 billion rupees discovered from 2 cargo containers. For your attention.
100 projects in 100 days with the people for the people.
This is merely one of the objectives of the historic Gammadda 100-day public service initiative that is creating ripples of change throughout the country.
Are you interested in helping out your fellow countrymen and women? Well, here are a few projects that you can provide your support for.
The Gammadda 100-day initiative.
Day 3. Close to 100 families living in the Tibbatuwa village in Akurasa are without clean drinking water. Their only request is to help them gain access to clean drinking water.
We live amidst many hardships. We have to travel a long distance to get water. Even if wells are dug, you cannot use that water.
We bring water from far away. You will be blessed if you can give us water.
Yatiyantota is home to yet another group of people who are undergoing many hardships due to the lack of drinking water.
I came home after working just 1/4 of the day because we do not have drinking water. The clothes or even the shoes could not be washed after they were worn to school yesterday. It is only if they are washed and dried away we will be able to go to school tomorrow. I checked for water in 3 locations. All 3 did not have water.
The request made by the residents of Ondachi Madam in Batiklo is to provide them with a building at the public cemetery in the area.
When there is a funeral in the village, we do not have a location to place the remains. We appreciate it if a building can be constructed at our cemetery. We ask the Gammadda program to solve this issue in our village.
Meanwhile, the residents of Villache request for their community centre to be refurbished. The community centre, which was constructed in the year 1995, is in a dilapidated state.
About 300 families in the area use this community centre. If this community centre is renovated for the children in this area, for their fathers, the farmers, it will be a meritorious deed.
A foundation stone was laid today for the 46th model village in the Hambantota district.
Construction of the model village, which commenced under the auspices of Minister of Housing and Construction Sajid Premadasa, was named Sandalugama. The model village, which is being constructed in the Bandagiri area in Hambantota, comprises of 47 houses. Minister Sajid Premadasa presented land deeds to the house owners during the event. In addition, 381 spectacles were donated to visually impaired individuals in the area.
They say that the country is going to fall into a trap through the establishment of a new constitution. They are trying to portray this as a constitution concocted by a president and prime minister who have lost touch with the public. But what is the truth? The constitution will be established through a constitutional council. But what these people try to show is that the president and the prime minister are in this together. But do you know the real story behind this? It is that members of the joint curse who were rejected by the citizens of this country are also included in these special committees.
The annual sports meet of the Yoshida Shokanji International School, Sapugaskanda, was held today.
The 31st annual sports meet of the Yoshida Shokanji International School, Sapugaskanda, was held under the auspices of Minister of Regional Development, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca. When we see the talents and capabilities of these children, we can expect a prosperous period when we pass down the country to these children in the future. We have to perform a very important task in nurturing these children so they can be exemplary characters in the society. We have seen several instances where the parents have to teach our children simple manners. The way to treat and greet people, the way to thank and appreciate when necessary, should be taught by the parents. It all starts from the home. So we hope that parents will build the foundation required to nurture these children. When Madam Yoshida passed away in 2000, many thought that it will result in the downfall of this organization and that this organization will not have the strength to exist. When we act with pure intentions, the gods are overjoyed and they shower their blessings on us. It is during this period that I met Mr. Raja Mahendran. He promised me that he will give me all the support necessary to take this organization forward. That was a great support and encouragement to us, especially to take this international school to international standards. What is always in my mind is that these are our children. I believe that in 15 years, these children will lay a foundation for a better tomorrow.
A special seminar was held at the BMICH today where attention was drawn to Sri Lanka's development challenges.
A group including the President, the Prime Minister, Ministers as well as the Attorney General were present at the seminar. We believe in discipline, in the concept of good governance, in protecting the law and in securing and nurturing the law. To achieve these factors and to create a better and prosperous motherland, it is the politicians that should provide the initial precedent. Therefore, I hope to hold a discussion with the Prime Minister and the Cabinet of Ministers, and I hope to create an institutional system to provide independence to state sector employees. I will not cling to power, and I will not delay what needs to be said. If someone is doing something wrong under the plaque of good governance, and if I know that mistake is taking place, I will not let it happen. The newly appointed governor of the central bank delivered the keynote address at the seminar.
Next, I want to make the case that we cannot continue with business as usual. We need to think afresh, of doing things in a different way. Now, why do I say that? One point I would like to make is that we need a better balance between social development on the one hand and inclusive growth on the other hand. Now, a second reason is the fact that we have now graduated to become a middle-income country. We are now exposed to rating agencies and international capital markets. And these agencies are far more brutal. And if you think the IMF is brutal, these agencies are far more brutal. So there is a much higher premium now placed on very prudent economic policy making. Because if we don't have prudent economic policy making, then the rating agencies and international capital markets will punish us by not giving us the money we need for our imports and to service our debts.
Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Yi Xiangliang, visited the temple of the sacred tooth relic today.
The ambassador first visited the temple and paid homage to the sacred tooth relics. Thereafter, he called on the Mahanayaka of Dasgiri chapter, the most venerable Warakagoda Jnanaratana Thero. Following the discussion with the Mahanayaka, the Chinese ambassador expressed the following views to the media.
I appreciate very much the Buddhist association or Buddhist community in Sri Lanka, which play a very important role in the relations of two countries. So I will do my best in this regard to promote the cooperation and friendship between the two Buddhism communities in China and in Sri Lanka.
Indian High Commissioner Y.K. Singha unveiled a memorial plaque at the Ruhuni University to construct a new auditorium at the university.
The auditorium, which is being built with the financial aid of India, is to be completed in September 2017. The auditorium will be called the Ravindranath Tagore Memorial Auditorium and will facilitate 1,500 individuals and is constructed at a cost of 300 million rupees.
We are also happy that most of our projects, though, were initially located in the north and the east because of the devastation caused by 3 decades of war, but now it is spread island-wide throughout the country. For instance, in the southern province itself, we are very happy that we were able to, when we started this project now here in Mathura, but we've also helped in rehabilitating the southern railway corridor. Apart from that, some years ago, we built 20 Nena Shalas or e-libraries in the southern province. We're also looking at doing more projects in the province, in the southern province, and in the other parts of the island.
The relaunch of the campaign Top German Brands in Sri Lanka took place last evening in Colombo.
The event was graced by the German ambassador to Sri Lanka, Jürgen Mohad, and Minister Malik Samaravikrama.
In every area, Germany is recognized as being the best, whether it's in technology, whether it's in skills development, whether it's in education, with the system of education. So in every sphere of life, I think we can take an example from the Germans. We all saw how they came up after the whole country was destroyed by the war, in World War II, and they rose because of the true commitment and the hard work of the people of the country. So it's a good lesson for us. Our government is doing our best to change the mindset of our people. It's being done gradually. It takes a little time, but I'm sure we'll get there.
Incidentally, this event marks the conclusion of the German ambassador's 4-year tenure in Sri Lanka.
We are leaving in 4 days. It has been a wonderful time. Many highlights. We would never would have predicted that we like it so much when you come here. It has nothing to do about the job. Many things have been achieved politically. Many things have been achieved also on the business side, when I said, you know, how your presence has been ever increasing and we got stronger here. No, it was all about the people. The people here, normal people in the road, tuk-tuk drivers, people in the villages, people in the projects. And I'd like to thank you all here and all the people of Sri Lanka for the ever kind hospitality wherever we went, for the ever nice support, for the ever nice advice, for the many, many thousand smiles we had. This was really a wonderful time.
Finally, in some sports news, large crowds continue to add their wishes to the Torch of Hope rally, which is organized with the intention of mustering support for Sri Lankan sportsmen and women who will be competing at the Rio Olympics. The rally, organized by the Capital Maharaja Organisation Limited together with Newsfirst, is supported by the Ministry of Sports, Ministry of Education and the National Youth Services Council.
The Torch of Hope commenced day 9 of its journey from Ampara. The event was held under the auspices of Assistant District Secretary of Ampara, Chintakanana Kara, and Ampara Zonal Education Director, Sunil Gunatilaka. Students from the Uhunatisapura Vidyalaya and Ampara Bandaranayaka Balika Vidyalaya, as well as local residents, were present for the event. The first stop of the Torch of Hope was the Siamalandua town. Torch of Hope rally concluded today's leg in Monaragala. The closing ceremony of today's leg took place under the auspices of the Additional District Secretary of Monaragala and the Additional Divisional Secretary of Monaragala. The Torch of Hope rally will commence its journey tomorrow from Bandarawala and will proceed to Badulla.
And well, that's the wrap of Primetime News for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Jitendri Gunasena.
I'm Chaturanga Puarat. Before we go, you can keep track of all this and more on our award-winning website, www.newsfirst.lk. Take care and good night.